what we finished with in the previous video is we saw how we can actually crack the wireless password hash with the tool called aircrack-ng. Now, what we're going to do right now is we're going to try to perform the same process of cracking the actual password hash for the wireless network just right now. Instead of using our CPU power in order to do that, we're going to try to use our GPU power. Now, the reason behind that is because the GPU power is a lot faster, it has many more cores, and it can actually perform the brute forcing or the password cracking a lot faster. So you remember that we had around 3000 passwords per second using the aircrack-ng in the previous video once we actually cracked it. And right now we're going to use a tool called Hashcat, which comes pre-installed in Kali Linux, in case you're wondering. If you are running any other Linux, make sure that you install it first. It shouldn't be that hard to install. You can simply just navigate to your sources.list, change your dependencies, and apt-get install Hashcat. But since most of you are already using Kali Linux, you will not be needing to actually do that since you already have it. Now, there are actually a few things that we need to do before we can actually perform the cracking process. Now, don't worry, we don't really need to do the same process in the previous video all over again. We already have our four-way handshake right here. You will remember that we captured it using the aerodum-ng. And right now, in order to actually be able to crack this four-way handshake in the Hashcat tool, and the Hashcat tool, let me just show you right here. If you simply open up your terminal and type Hashcat, you will see this simple usage right here, which says usage, Hashcat options, hash file, and then the actual password list or dictionary. Now, if you simply just type hashcat -help, you will get the bigger menu, which shows you all of your available options that you can actually do using this tool. As we can see right here, this is the list of all the available options up here. As we can see, -8 is the attack mode, but we're not really interested in that at the moment. We will show you, or I will show you this later on once we actually get to the command crafting. Down here we have the hash modes, which are different types of hashes that can be cracked using this actual tool. Next to them is the actual identification number for a specific hash, so we are also going to need to search through this in order to find the actual hash value that we need to crack, because you cannot really simply specify any type of hash you want. Okay, so what we are searching for is down here. Here it is. It is VPA and VPA2 password hash. As we can see, it is under the network protocols and its identification number is 2500. Okay, so we will get back to this later on. I'm just showing you for now on. And down here you have some of the different options as well as some of the basic examples of the Hashcat usage. Okay, so right now what we're going to do is, as I said before, we cannot really use this file to actually crack it in Hashcat. We need to perform some file conversion, and this .cap file we need to convert to the HCC APX file. For those of you who don't know, that is a file that we can actually use in the Hashcat tool, and I have already converted this file, and it is right here now. Don't worry, I will show you how you can do that. Simply have your file on the desktop, your .cap file on the desktop, and navigate to your Firefox or your Google Chrome or whatever search engine you're using, and simply just type in this link. So https://hashcat.net/cap2hccapx. So this is the actual link right here. And make sure to paste it, and it should lead you to this page right here, which is a simple page. It simply just allows us to upload a single file. Click here on convert, and it will convert a file for the Hashcat usage. So simply just click on browse right here. You can go navigate to your directory where you have saved the .cap file. Click on it. So click open and then click convert. Now right here you can input the name if you want some different type of name. Now if you simply just leave it empty like I did, what this will do is it will generate a random name consisted of random numbers. And then you will get a name that looks something like this, so 20897 and so on and so on. Then you simply just click on save file and find where you have file saved. So for me, I already have it on my desktop right here, as we can see right here. And now we are good to go. Now we can actually perform the cracking of the hash. So the actual password list or dictionary that we are going to use is going to be once again the rockyou.txt. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to actually find the rockyou.txt, and let me just enter my root mode. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to input once again the correct password to the rockyou.txt password list. Okay, so it's not here, it is prod lists, okay. And nano rockyou.txt. Now we know that this actual password list contains a lot of passwords, that's why it might actually take a lot more to open it. For me it took around 20 to 30 seconds, so right here I'm simply just going to navigate a little bit down. Or you know what, we can actually perform something like this. If I just cat rockyou.txt, it will print out all of the passwords right here. What we can do is we can try to echo and then the actual password to our network. Okay, so here it is, and then to rockyou.txt. And now if we cat it, the actual password should be at the end, I believe, not really sure. Let's just wait for this to actually print out. Yeah, it is at the end, so right here we have our password. I'll simply just use the echo command to actually input this password at the end of this password list. And right now what we're going to do is we're going to first of all return back to our desktop and run hashcat. And then first of all, let's open the help menu so we can show which settings we're going to use. We're going to use the -m, which is basically the hash type, since we need to specify which hash type we are using. And a few minutes ago we actually saw that we need network protocols hash type. Let me just find where it is. VPA2. Here it is, which is labeled as 2500, so we need to make sure to remember that number. Or we can simply just open a new terminal, and at the same time of watching this menu we can simply just start typing the command. So hashcat m2500. Okay. The A is also something that we need. Attack type, as we can see, attack mode, see references below. Now it doesn't really matter which one you specify, we are simply just going to go with the attack mode 3, and if you want to check it out what that means, you can go down here. It should be something around this right here. So the attack mode, we want to perform the high attack mode, so let us simply just go with the -A and then 3, and all we need to actually specify after it is, first thing, we need to specify our name of the actual hashcat file, which is this one right here, which we are going to use in order to crack. So simply just type the file name right here, and the next thing that we need to specify is the actual password list or dictionary that we're going to use in order to crack that hash. So I will just simply specify user desktop files word list and then rockyou.txt. What it will say right here is your actual device, which it will use in order to crack the actual file. As we can see in my case, GTX 105 Ti. And if I just open this up, now it is skipping some of the passwords, as it says right here, skipping mass, sweetie, because it is smaller than the minimum password length. The word list or max that you're using is too small. This means that hashcat cannot use the full parallel power of your devices. Okay, so what we can do is we can simply try to find the actual password for the wireless networks. So wireless network password list, and simply just download some random password list from the wireless network. But if we don't really find any, it doesn't really matter. We can simply just use any password list that has more than 8 characters. So it actually can use the full potential of cracking the password, because as you can see right here, never mind, they cleared the screen, but if you saw in those yellow letters, it actually said that the passwords were actually too small, and that's why it didn't manage to actually use the full potential. in order to crack the password. So right now I will simply just find another password list on my device or on my laptop. So I will just go to Files, Word Lists, and right here, let's try with the command. Now these are all actual short. These are short as well. But what we can do is we can create our own password list, okay? Now this is something new that we haven't done before, but there is a tool that is called Crunch, and it comes pre-installed in Kali Linux, so you will not really need to actually install it. And what this tool allows us to do is to simply just generate our own password list with the settings specified. If you just type Crunch right here, you will see Crunch can create a word list based on criteria you specify. The output from Crunch can be sent to the screen, file, or let me just see, or another program. Okay, so as we can see right here, the usage is Crunch, minimal amount of letters, maximum amount of letters, and then options. So let's say we want to generate minimum 8 letters, maximum 9 letters, and the options are going to be simply which letters we want, so A, B, C, D, E, F. These are all the passwords that it actually prints out. Now, what we need to do right now is we actually need to write them to a file so we can actually use it. So I will just Control-C this. I will use the same command, just I will remove one letter, and I will use this arrow right here to input it into the Wi-Fi passlist.txt. Let's try to do something like that. And now instead of it printing all the actual combinations to the screen, it inputted them in a certain file. So as you can see right here, if I cat the Wi-Fi passlist.txt, it will have all the possible combinations right here. Now, all we're left to do is actually input the real password at the end of this list. So here it is. To the Wi-Fi passlist.txt, and now if we cat it once again, our real password should be at the end of this list, and it is right here. So all we are left to do right now is repeat the previous command. It was not in this terminal. Let us just type it once again. So hashcat -a, let's use the mode 3, and then -m and 2500 for the actual VPA-VPA2 password hash. And now we need to specify the actual HCC APX file right here, and then after it we need to specify the password list. So wherever you have it saved, simply just navigate to the directory. Just go right here, Wi-Fi, press here enter. It does really indeed go really slow. As we can see, for the time that it actually ran, it only went through 89 passwords out of 2 million, I believe, 2 million and something. The actual speed was maximum 30 hashes per second, and which is really bad since it actually should be a lot more faster since we are using GPU. Let's see what else we can actually do. What if we simply just try some different password list? Let's try with the Rocky one more time, and if that doesn't work, we're simply just going to actually close this, since there is really no point, as we did create an actual password list that contained normal passwords, but right here, as we can see, it still gives us the same error saying the word list is too small, which is actually not correct. So I believe it might be something wrong with my hashcat. Now, for you it will probably work, cracking the passwords with hashcat, in comparison to actually my CPU power, which actually had around 3000 passwords per second. This should have around 50 to 100,000 passwords per second, so it should be a lot faster than the actual CPU power. Now, make sure that you run the same command right here. Simply just pick the actual password list, make sure that you specify these options right here. You can actually experiment with different types of options if you want to. For example, instead of actually using -a and then 3, you can simply just use -a and then 1. Yeah, it could be that we actually specified some wrong options, so let us just go once again, just check it to make sure. Here are the attack modes. So attack mode, straight combination, brute force, so we are using attack mode. Yeah, I actually mistaken it for this one right here, And what we're using is the actual attack mode, so -3 for the brute force. Let me just go up here. Okay, no, that is actually it. So we can see attack modes. We want to use the brute force attack mode. Yeah, everything we actually set seems to be right, so it could be some problem with the actual Hashcat. Now if you have something like this, make sure that you actually try to restart it. And what I'm going to do is, in some future video, I will show you how the Hashcat actually works, once it works properly. So that would be basically about it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I will see you in the next one, where I will simply just show you a tool called Airgeddon, which actually uses for wireless cracking, wireless evil twin attack, and many more things. Hope I see you there, and take care. Bye.